So first card here, Aragorn, Company Leader, 1 green white, legendary creature, Human Ranger. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you chose a creature other than Aragorn, Company Leader is your ring bearer. Put your choice of a counter from among them. First Strike, Vigilant, Death Touch, and Lifelink on Aragorn. Whenever you put one or more counters on Aragorn, put one of each of those kinds of counters on up to one other target creature. Wow. So, this could actually be really insane in your Ring Temptation deck. Like, if you have no way to play Ring Temptation, this card is like a 2, or maybe it's like a 2 basically. If you have like enough Ring Temptations, basically you can make First Strike, Vigilance, Death Touch. Like, First Strike and Death Touch are also really good, but like First Strike, Vigilance, and Death Touch is like insane. Imagine doing that on, like, you know, other creatures. I'm willing to rate this as like a 4 in like the Ring Temptation deck. Like, because if you actually get like, if you can actually assemble First Strike and Death Touch on 2 creatures, you probably just like won the game there. 3-5 with Ring Tempting you. You think it's a 3.5? Maybe it's like more like a 3.5, I guess. I feel like, yeah, I mean, they could interrupt it. It's not quite exactly like Crystalline Golem or Crystalline Giant. Well, Crystalline Giant was also random. And it was also colorless. Okay, I guess I could say 3.5. Getting forward, bold, death common, yeah. Well, it's also 2 colors, maybe that's a little bit, like, aggressive. Say 3.5. Alright, Aragorn the Unifier. Or the Uniter, sorry. 4 colors, red, green, white, blue, so it's like Omnath. Legendary creature, Human Noble. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, Scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So I'm gonna rate this kind of low, but I think it's in the context that I don't know. Like, this doesn't seem like a format where you're easily going to be able to get like 4 colors. To be honest, it's not like the thing that hurts this card a lot is like there's no I didn't see any like common dual lands or that. So if there are like common dual lands, this gets like a lot more reasonable, but like where they're common dual lands. Doesn't look like it. Oh man, it's not loading for some reason. Maybe it just won't load here, but it doesn't look like there's like common dual lands. Like, there's no like, so it's probably going to be a lot harder to cast this, which makes me want to rate it really low because like I don't think like the average person should be trying to do this. So like 1.5. That's just based on like I think it's just difficult to cast it. Arwen, Mortal Queen, 1 green white, legendary creature, Elf Noble. Arwen, Mortal Queen enters the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it. 1 generic, remove an indestructible counter from Arwen. Another target creature gains indestructible at the end of the turn. Put a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink counter on that creature, and a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink Arwen. Okay. Um, it actually looks kind of good. Yeah. I guess there is a green mana dork that can generate any color of mana. Okay, so maybe that makes it a little bit better if you're in green. Um, yeah, it's like Omnath and Zendikar Rising was usually a trap because there wasn't like there was some like colorless fixing, but it was like at rare or in green. stuff. So it's like, so like if you actually pack one, pick one, Omnath and like Zendikar Rising, it's really hard. I don't think Atraxa was even that broken in the context of like one because it was 7-drop. And like mana fixing was really hard and like one also. Destructible 2/2, okay. Yeah. I think this has like a lot of potential, like being able to give indestructible to like you can save another creature by giving it indestructible on end of turn, and then you get to permanently buff that creature with lifelink and then buff Arwen with lifelink. So this is basically a 3-mana 2/2 that gets to save another creature and then throw out 2 more counters. Yeah, it grants lifelink to 2 bodies, which is actually feels like a big deal. So like save, so like this could really like blow out this could really blow out combat or whatever. Like I know it's on the board, so you can see it, but you can't interact with it really until like they get to do it. Yeah, it's instant speed. So you can't interact with. It's like it's hard to interact with like an indestructible creature in the set. I guess if you have like the red spell, that would work. Like if they're tapped out and you use like the Smite the Deathless on it, that would work because like you could kill like the Arwen before they could like move the counter, but it only costs like 1 for them to move the counter. So as long as they like leave the 1 up, it's gonna be really annoying. Like even if they did kill it or something like that, if they have the 1 up, they'll just like throw the lifelink counter on some. That's like one of the downsides, I guess, is that Smite the Deathless sort of deal with this. But I'm just gonna say, like, I think for most decks, it's just gonna be like a nightmare to like play around. It's also like it's also I mean, it's a mythic too, so it's not like you're gonna run into it a lot. But I want to say it's like a 3.5, just because like it's really annoying. Right, Arwen Undomiel is like the uncommon version. She's green blue. Um, Legendary creature, elf noble. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature, and then 6 mana scry 2. So this is basically like your blue green signpost uncommon. If you have like a ton of scry, this is going to be nuts. If you have a ton of scry, and like it's also like a mana sink because you can later on you get to like usually these types of cards are really good when like a format is kind of slow or whatever, like because you just get to like because not only the scrying like you put a counter on something, it also means like if you're scry 2, it like scrying 2 late game means you're never gonna like have like problems like getting more stuff unless like the top of your deck is like all land. Totally possible. So I really want to rate this as like a 3. Like as a 3, just because I think it looks good. Like I don't know if it's like completely busted, but I do think it's like good. You also have to take into context when you rate multicolor cards. You have to also be like, oh, you need to rate it a little bit lower because it's colors. Because it is like kind of a commitment to play like 2 colors, especially if like pack one, pick one or whatever. Like a card has to be like really good to like when you to. I don't know necessarily that card is like a card that like pack. Alright, the Balrog Durin's Bane, 5 and black and red. Legendary creature Avatar Demon, 7/5. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this turn. Haste. The Balrog Durin's Bane can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. When the Balrog dies, destroy artifact or creature an opponent controls. I mean, it's cost 7. It does have like relatively like I think the idea is that you're playing black red. You probably have like a lot of sack things. Like most of the sack outlets cost mana though, so I guess it'd be better like if your opponent is like sacking stuff during your turn, but that doesn't seem like that's necessarily going to happen. So like you could sack treasure to this, which is actually pretty cool because sacking treasure to this is basically like it makes it like treasure is basically cost or adding like they contribute two to the cost of this. So if you have like two treasures, you can cast this off of like three other mana sources. If you have two treasures, because sacking a treasure makes this cheaper by one, and it also generates. So it's like maybe this is a lot better if you have like a bunch of treasure generation. That's where I'm like thinking about it because like if you're sacking food, you have to pay two to do it, and like the other sack outlets I saw, like they cost one to like activate. So it's like it's flush if you're sacking that way. Like this is a lot better, I think, in like constructed with like Asmo and stuff, but it is like gonna be really hard to block, like if they don't have legendary creatures, and like if they do answer it with like a kill spell, you get to destroy something they play. So like if you can actually cast this on like 5 or whatever, I could see this as being really broke. Casting this on 5. Like with a treasure. Um I'm like willing to rate it as like a 3.5 contextually, like if you can cast it on 5. But I mean, I definitely could see some situations where people are like struggling to cast this. It's not like Black Red is gonna be like great at like ramping this out. So I think like the seven casting cost probably gonna like hold it back from before. But I mean, it could definitely play out like a 4 essentially. A Bilbo retired burglar, one blue red legendary creature halfling rogue. When Bilbo retired burglar enters or leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever Bilbo deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Um. So I think the issue I have with this card is that it's like a 1/3. I don't know how often this is going to get dealing. It's going to deal damage to a player. Like, I mean, it depends on how much you value, like, the ring tempts you, but I don't know. I just don't think, like, a 3 mana 1/3 is gonna be getting in that often, like, unless, like, there's some way to make it unblockable, repeat thinking. Like, if there's a format like Tetsuko or something, that's, like, different. But I kind of want to rate this more like a 2 or something based on that. Like, it just feels like it's gonna like it depends on how much the ring tempts you text matters. Like, blinking is really good, but like the fact that it needs to like deal combat damage and it's like a 1/3 with like no evasion on it, it's just like I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's gonna work a lot. Right, Butterbur, Bree, Innkeeper, 2 and green and white, legendary creature, human peasant. At the beginning of your end step, you don't control food, create a food token. So this is like your food generator. Um, if you're like, it's probably like so. There's like reward. It's like sort of like a variant of that like uh that zombie generator that made like a decayed zombie if you didn't control the decayed zombie. But like it's a 3/3 for 4 instead of a 1/1 for 2. I mean, if you have enough like if you have enough like food spenders, then I could actually see this being a big deal. Like, I mean, generating a food every turn, during each of your turns, late game could actually be a big deal. Like if your opponent's trying to be aggressive. So I think like based on like the food spenders, this could and token, like stuff that cares when you generate a token. This could be like a 2.5. I think. I'm just gonna say like the body is like makes me not want to like rate it higher or whatever. Don't like. There's probably gonna be some situations where you can't always like use the food before your next turn, then it's not gonna generate. Right, Denethor, Ruling Steward, 1 and white black. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, create a 1/1 white human. Their creature token is a 3 mana 2/4. Then 2, sacrifice 2 generic, sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1. So this is like your variant of like, I guess, hidden stockpile. If anybody remembers like Hidden Stockpile, that was like a cool build around. Like, except instead of sacking a creature, pay 1 and sack a creature, scry 1, you're like pay 2, sack a creature, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain life. So, like, this could be like cool in like certain decks like that. Like there's also like I think there was like also some white creature that generates like a 1/1 if something died under your control this turn, like, or another legendary that did it. If you had like both of them, that could be kind of annoying. But the fact that you have to pay 2 mana to do the drain, it sort of hurts it, I think. There could be some situations where like you're throwing creatures into like the red zone just to get like more 1/1s. Like it's kind of like it's sort of like you could throw like a 1/1 away to like replace itself and then like enable certain things like that kill spell, the 4 mana kill spell that's cheaper if you target a damaged creature. That would be like a cool line of play. But I don't know. I think based on just because the body is kind of good and like the passive ability is kind of good, I think it's good. But I think the activated ability is like too expensive, honestly, which makes me want to rate it more like a 2.5, as opposed to like it's not like necessarily like it's kind of blood artistish, but not really because you have to sack to do it. You have to specifically activate it. Alright, Doors of Durin, 3 in a red-green legendary artifact. Whenever you attack, scry 2, and then you may reveal the top card of the library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped and attack. Until your next turn, it gains trample if you control a dwarf and hexproof if you control elf. Okay. I mean, that's kinda cool, like, being able to, like, put creatures into play for free, and they're also attacking, so it's like they get haste. Um, there's definitely some potential for this is like not do anything at all because it's contingent on you like attacking because it doesn't trigger at all if you can't attack. It is also like kind of expensive, like 5 mana do nothing artifact until you attack. Makes me like not like super makes me want to rate it kind of lower as a result because like if you have like no board presence, this is pretty terrible. But if you do have board presence, I could see this snowballing pretty quickly. But I don't know, I kind of just want to rate it more like a 2, just because like it's not going to attack. It's like only going to be really good when you're ahead, like when you can attack, and like you also need to have like the Scry 2 helps with like hitting creatures. Like I could definitely see situations you attack, and then like you don't actually have like a creature in like you say you Scry 2 and you put like I mean Scry 2 is kind of powerful because it can help you hit more gas, but like this could be really powerful if you're like ahead, but like the fact that it doesn't do anything when you're behind makes it or as a result. Like the reason I'm fine with giving 2.5 for like the Denethor is because it's at least it's a 4 for 3. So it's like really good at blocking. But anyway, Elrond Master Healing, 2 and green blue legendary creature Elf Noble. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell or ability to opponent, may draw a card for 4. So this is already a 4/4 for 4. And it gets to throw counters on people, and it also like punishes your opponent for like killing your stuff that has counters on it. Likely they're going to kill this first, but I could see this card being also like really insane. Like as a result, like it's already got like a really good body for like the mana, like a 4/4 for 4, and then like I could definitely see this being at least like a 3.5. Just because like I don't think it's gonna be too hard to get like to make this like make this do its thing. To get enough scry. Maybe it's gonna play out more like a 3 in like practice. But I don't know. I definitely think this has like the potential to like take over a game. Alright, Eowyn Fearless Knight, 2 and a red white, legendary creature human knight, haste, 3/4. When Eowyn Fearless Knight enters the battlefield, exile target creature with opponent controls with greater power. Legendary creatures you control gain protection from each that creature's color until end. So this is basically exile your opponent's biggest thing. Well, it has to be a creature with like greater power, like so it has to be like a 4 power. So this is like a 3/4 haze that exiles a 4 or greater power creature, right? I mean, I guess most of the time that's just how it's gonna read. It exiles a target creature opponent controls with like 4 power or greater. Which I mean that's pretty decent. Like it could be really bad, like it might not do anything, but like I can definitely see this feeling like really bad, like when you have like a 4/4 and then your opponent goes like, yo, kills it, attacks you. Maybe even like the protection from each creature color like means they get the hidden for like lethal. Man, I think this could be situationally like a 4 as a result. Because like I can definitely see people like losing hard. Because, like, you know, the exile your 4 power blocker, and then it gave, like, protection. It gives protection to all their legendary creatures. So this counts Yo. It just, like, yeah, it could be, like, a really solid finisher as a result. Um, it could also do nothing. That's, like, kind of the problem. Maybe it's not a 4 as a result. Hey, the Domino Man, how's it going? Yeah, we're still finishing the set review. Alright. Faramir, Prince of Ithilien, 2 and white blue, legendary creature, human, noble. At the beginning of your end step, choose an opponent. At the beginning of that player's next end step, you draw a card that they didn't attack you. Otherwise, create 3 1/1 human soldier creature token. Oh my god. I mean, that seems kind of insane if you can keep this in play, right? Like, if you can keep this in play, it's kind of nuts, right? I mean, it has to stay in play for until like the end of your opponent's turn, and they can just kill it, and it's bad. But they don't actually like deal with this. It's a big problem because it's like, oh, you just sit there and like draw cards, or you sit there and if they, I guess, so if they don't attack you, you get to draw a card. Um, and if they do attack you, you get to make 3 1/1s. And that seems really good, but again, it takes like an entire turn cycle to do its thing. And it is a 3/3, so there is like, you know, common answers for it. But I definitely think this card could also like result in like some feel bads. Also, I guess it's not that insane. It's not that insane necessarily if it is just like a 3/3 draw card sometimes. Maybe it's like closer. It's gonna play out more like a 3.5, as opposed to being like really insane. But I feel like this card could actually just kind of end up making this like a real bad situation, right? So maybe I'll just put it as like a 4, but that might be a little high. Flame of Anor, 1 in a blue-red instant. Choose one. If you control wizard as you cast a spell, you may choose to instead. Target player draws 2 cards, destroy target artifact. Flame of Anor deals 5 damage per creature. So it's not great if you're just using it instant P divination, but I guess 3 mana deal 5 damage to target creature is still solid, and then destroy target artifact is like your backup mode. I mean, I don't remember how many wizards there are in the set. I think this is more of a constructed plant, but um, I think like the wizard upside, like there's enough like potential like wizard. Like I think if you don't have like any wizard, it's just gonna be more like a 2.5 or whatever. Like it's not gonna be like that exciting. It's basically just like a removal spell that you can like turn into like divination if like removal isn't good. But if there's like a lot of playable wizards, I could see like for 3.5 on the playable wizard. Right, friendly rivalry, red and the green, instant. Target creature you control and up to one other target legendary creature you control. Each deal damage equal to the power of the target creature. So this is basically like a situational band together. There's 7 wizards in the set. Okay, so it could be like a 3 then. Need to control 1 wizard. Feel like a 3. Then yeah, if you have a wizard, it's like a 3 enough because you're really solid too. Getting like a really solid one. If you draw 2 and deal 5, kind of insane. But I was gonna say it's like a 3. You're gonna need to have like birds both modes, but friendly rivalry instant. I mean, it's just 2 mana conditional band together. I think that's gonna be good. Gonna be good. I'm willing to rate it as like a 3. You have to have a legendary to get like the second creature, but there's like enough. There's enough legend, and there's also like ring bearer to give you another legendary. But Frodo Baggins, green white legendary creature halfling scout. Whenever Frodo Baggins or another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, the ring tempts you. As long as Frodo is your bearer, must be blocked if able. And just like is there like an equipment archetype or something that makes us bigger? Like that's the thing. There's a lot of like wonderies in this set, I think, because of like the ring bearer, so that you can't just like have like an unblockable 1 power ring bearer or whatever. But like it's just uh I don't know. Like again, 2 mana wondery just makes me feel kind of like the pump stuff from food should make it eat stuff. Yeah, if you have like enough combat tricks, I could see this doing something. Like, I'm willing to like rate this more than like the average Wondery just because of like the ring tempts you text. And there is potentially some like, like pump spell synergies. Uh like I think there's like a few equipments too. Like I guess if you go on like big on auras, like if you put like the if you put the 4 mana 3/3 aura on this, it's kind of a big deal. Like a 4/6 that they have to chump every turn. Maybe, but I'm just gonna rate this as like a 2, mostly based on like the ring bearer text. Like I think we've rated like some of the other 2 mana 1/3s closer to like 1 or 1.5 thing. I think just because it's like a legendary and it has like this text with like ring tempting. Like I guess if you're on level 3, Frodo is basically kind of like a removal spell because they have to block it, and then if you're on level 3, like sure the Frodo would die, but then they would have to sack their blocker, right? Level 3 does that. That makes it a little bit better, but maybe it's closer to 2.5 because of that. As a passive that makes it better, yeah, that's true. But it's not just like a 1 or 1.5. It could be closer to like a 2.5 if like the white green pump archetype is really. But I don't. Alright, Galadriel of Lothlorien. 1 green blue legendary creature elf noble 3/3. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you chose a creature other than Galadriel as your ring bearer, scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top library. The land card revealed this way, put battlefield tapped. Okay. Well, so does that mean you reveal the card before you order stuff, or is it after you order things? That's what I gotta like feed. If it's like after you order it, or is it before it? If it's like before you order the cards, that makes it a lot worse. But like if it's after you order it, then you could like be putting lands on top of your deck and then stuff. Oh, I guess. Never mind. I can't look at a bunch of things. They are hidden now. Thanks to Red to Blackout. Yay. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a 3/3 for 3, and like it has synergy with like ring tempsy stuff. As long as you have like another creature, and then you know like it can ramp you. It's kind of cool. Like getting the ramp view, so I want to rate it like a 3.5. In that case, but see how many like ring tempsy stuff there is. Gondal the Grey, 3, and a red legendary creature avatar wizard. When if you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen. May tap or untap target permanent. Gondal the Grey deals 3 damage to each opponent. Copy target instant or sorcery you control. You may choose new targets for the combi and put Gondalf on top of its own. I mean, it's so I understand the way this works is like you're probably gonna choose like the copy target instant or sorcery first. You know. And then you'll choose like the deal 3 damage and the untap or untap target permanent. I mean, I understand that like also they target him. You can just cast an instant or sorcery. So you can just cast an instant in response to them targeting him, just to put it on top of your library. Which is cool. I think if you have like a lot of like instants and sorceries, this would be a big deal. Like if you have like, you know, 10 if you have like 10 or 11 instants, it might be more of like a weird like ED plant. You know, it's probably more like an EDH plant than like a plant, but I think like the potential for like upside, and it has like pseudo protection if you have like a lot of instants, you know, makes me want to like rate it higher. But I don't think it's like insane. It all costs 5 mana, which is kind of a downside. It's not like a very efficient mod. So I'm gonna say it's like a 3 based on that, but it might play out more like a 2.5. Like Gondal Sanction. It is a 1 blue and a red sorcery. Gondal Sanction deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in graveyard. Excess damage is dealt to the creature. This feels pretty bad, unless I guess you are in the spell archetype. I mean, so it doesn't count instants and sorceries. Like it won't count this card as an instant or sorcery in the graveyard because it's still on the stack. So if you have like 2 instants and source in your graveyard, it'll do 2 damage as source. Card does not seem like good based on that. Like maybe if you have like I didn't see like a really good self mill card that also hurts like this type of card, because like when there's like formats that have like self mill, then things that count like cards in your graveyard are a lot better. I kind of just want to say that it's going to be like a 1. Honestly, I just think like these type of cards don't play out like if this was like Innistrad or something, probably like say there's like a F. Yeah, Spells Matter is sometimes good in formats FC Slayer, like it was reasonable in Midnight Hunt, for example. I don't know if it's that good in like War of the Spark. Like this set has like a lot of like similarities of War of the Spark because of like Amass, but I think this is probably going to play out more like a 1 a lot of times. I guess an Izzy could be good in a late game. Maybe it's like a 1 and a feel like, and it depends on how good like the spell deck is, I suppose. Right? Yeah, it just has like the potential to be really bad. Like it'll be like doing 0 damage early on in this set. Yeah, yeah. I don't know about this set how good the spell deck will be. Okay, Gimli, Mournful Avenger, one of the green red legendary creature dwarf warrior 3/2. Gimli, Mournful Avenger has indestructible as long as 2 or more creatures died under your. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Gimli. Whenever this ability resolves for the 3rd time this turn, Gimli fights up to 1 target creature you don't. Wow. Hey there, Captain Texas, how's it going? I mean, this has a lot of text. It's probably better in, like, a red sacrifice deck. Because, like, if you're attacking with Gimli and 2 other creatures, I mean, I feel like your opponent is just gonna block the Gimli first, and then he's not gonna be indestructible. Like, I don't think it's worth, like, fighting, like, using fight spells to put your creatures in the graveyard just to give Gimli the ball. Like, it's really strange. I guess you could, like, leave Gimli on the sidelines and then just, like, attack with other creatures and see if they die. But yeah, it's got a lot of text, but I think it's just gonna be really situational because like it's obviously gonna be good if like they kill other creatures besides Gimli, but if they have a choice, they're just going to target Gimli like their removal spell, and then I guess you could give them indestructible if you have a way to like sack 2 creatures. But I don't know. I guess like the best case scenario is like, okay, here's the best case scenario. You like throw a creature, you throw 2 of your creatures in the graveyard, Gimli becomes like a 5/4, and then like you use a fight spell on like your 3rd creature to like, or I don't know, you use like a fight spell on a 3rd creature to make Gimli angry or whatever, and yeah, it feels like there's a lot of stuff happening here, but I think this is gonna be like gonna be hard to like make this work. You don't understand this card's value. Yeah, it needs like very, very specific situations to come up for it to be like really good. So I think I just want to rate it more like a 2 because I think it's just gonna be hard to make it work. It could be closer to like a 1.5, honestly. Weird. I think it was black red, that would be way different. Like that would actually be kind of nuts in like a black red deck. Because like you'd have like a lot more sack outlets. Is the thing. But it probably wouldn't be Gimli, it would be something else. Probably like be weird with like a black red card fighting. Right, Guai here, the Windlord, 4 and a white blue legendary creature bird noble. This spell costs 2 less to cast as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Flying, vigilant. Other birds you control have vigilance. Um So like assuming you have some way to draw a card on your turn, it'll cost 4 to do it. So like the best way to is there I think there's like a 1 mana cantrip that like draws a card, right? And it says ring. So it's like kind of the best combo. Cause then it becomes like you could go like it becomes Sarah Angel if you do that. If you combo the 1 mana blue spell, that sorcery draw card, and play Guai here after Sarah Angel. I think that's what they're hoping for Sarah Angel. Because I don't think like a 6 mana 4/4 flying vigilance is that good, but I mean it's like Sarah Angel, like it gives other birds you control vigilance, and there's a few birds in the set, so like giving them vigilance is like relevant. It's also a legendary for like your legendary matter stuff, so I'll probably rate it as like a conditional Sarah Angel. Which I mean that's like good. Yeah, if you get other birds, like maybe it's like is Sarah Angel like a 3.5 or like a 4? I don't know. I guess in this set, Sarah Angel will probably be close. Like we would definitely be like a 3.5 in this set just because. Oh, I kind of want to say this is like a 3. Could play out like a 3.5 based on how easy it is for this part. Drawing the 2 cards. I guess it's really so. I think this Windlord is really good with like the 3 mana 2/1 that dies card, because you can like attack with it, have it die, and then play like a. Maybe it could be like I said, it could be 5 and 3.5 in like right situations. The King of the Oathbreakers, 2 and a white-black legendary creature spirit noble, 3/3 flying. Whenever a King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit control becomes the target of the spell, it phases out. Whenever King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit you control phases in, create a tap 1/1 white spirit token. That seems like really annoying. Like, so they can never like kill this. Like they can never kill this card, and then if they do, it just phases out and it makes another spirit token. Really? That seems really, really annoying or whatever, like to play against. Like, I mean, I understand, like, I guess, like, if you're really aggressive, you could, like, attack them, and maybe, like, a 3/3 is not that great at blocking, but it seems, like, really annoying. Yeah, it's unkillable like a spell. Like, I guess it phases out. Yeah, you have to kill, yeah, they need the block of it. Yeah. Like, it's definitely, like, a 4. Like, I think the only thing that's holding it back is, like, it's a 3, but I don't want to say it's, like, a 4. It feels like that's going to be really annoying to like deal with. Yeah, I remember Obsidat was really busted. Oh, hey there, Katie Combat, how's it going? Like, Obsidat Unlimited was really annoying. For sure. Agree. But there was a raid. Why did the raid notification not go up? But anyway, I checked my box with you. I don't know why raid notifications didn't go up, but I think I got a raid. Nothing showed up on Twitch all for some. Like, I see like there was like a raid. Like, I'm looking on like my other Twitch thing, and it seemingly implies that there was a raid, but I don't. Cause, thank you very much for the raid, Queen of Cardboard. I appreciate it. Also, hey there, Katie Comba, how's it going? Hope the EDH went well. But big shout out to Queen of Cardboard. You haven't checked out her stream yet. She's on Top Deck Studios stream team, and she does a lot of EDH content. And yeah, if you want to watch fun EDH content, you check out her stream. Click the heart and give her a follow. We're just doing a Lord of the Rings limited set review, so that is what we're doing. Yeah, I think it's just like Twitch is being weird and not showing like I do appreciate the. Yeah, because I definitely had like a few different like Twitch windows open, blame it on like ADHD. Sometimes I like look at other Twitch things, like when I'm in between like my rant about stuff. We're just looking at cards. So yeah, I'd say like the 4. It could be like a 4.5 potentially. Just how good black and white are. But that's definitely going to be a bomb that's going to annoy people. Right. Legolas counter kills. I feel like there's a theme here because there was also like Gimli counter of kills too, right? Because it's sort of like reference like their rivalry. But like, alright, Legolas counter kills 2 in a green blue, legendary creature, elf archer, 2/3 reach. Whenever you scry, if Legolas counter of kills is tapped, you may untap it. Do this only once each turn. Whenever a creature opponent control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas. So it's like the opposite of Gimli. He cares about when creatures an opponent control dies. And he gets bigger when that happens, and then like I guess Scry. I think the thing that hurts this card is like a 2/3 reach for 4 is kinda bad. But it does grow when your opponent has stuff die, but are blue-green decks really going to be easily killing stuff? That's my concern. Like, I guess you'd have to, like... Is this better than the rare Legolas? Maybe, but... I mean, it's gonna be like Malakir Coldblade type card, but it's also in a color that is like a color combo that I don't think is gonna be that great at like killing stuff. Right? I could see like maybe some situation where like the instant speed scry, you could like instant speed scry, untap this, eat one of your opponent's flyer, and then make Legolas bigger. Like if your opponent has like a 2/1 flyer, and then like you attack them, Legolas, because like, oh, I'm just gonna attack. Then you cast like an instant scry and it untaps. You get to like eat their 2/1. Then I guess like I mean these types of cards they can like snowball like once they get to like a certain size. You start having to like chump block them and then they just keep getting bigger because like you're chump blocking them and like the removal in this set doesn't seem like insanely good. I think the thing that holds it back honestly is just it starts out at a 2/3, but I know like because of like this text, like whenever a creature or opponent dies, they have to start like well. Otherwise it would just be like kind of over. But I think this is like a green black card. It would be so much better, maybe. But maybe I guess a scry would be black. Just like the opponent controls dies text like so much better like black than. So I probably just started out as like a 2.5, just based on that. But maybe it's gonna play out like more like a 3 as a result. I'm not sure. All right, Lofo Corrupt Sheriff. So white and a black legendary creature halfling rogue 2/1. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. Um, well, this is your treasure generator, and it does trigger off both players. I could definitely see this actually like hurting you at some point. Like there definitely will be a story of somebody who played this late in like a late game board stall, and then they died to their own Lofo because they lost a life. Because it's like it would, I guess it would be like insane if it was like target opponent loses a life and you create a busted. Um, there's like a sack payoff, and there's some there are some like there's like a bunch of there's a few multicolor cards I guess that would be benefit from like having treasures and Like there is like a bird that like cares when you make tokens and when you sack things. Like it triggers both. Like it triggers both when you make a token and it triggers whenever you sack a thing. Like a treasure is basically 2 life loss for that card. Or I guess it's not a bird. It's a bat. I don't know. Like I think this card's gonna actually be bad a lot of times, but like I guess it's just like weird. It's weird because I guess it could potentially like slow your opponent down. But this does feel more like a constructed plant than like a limited plant. It counts for both players. So like if you double spell, you lose a life and create a treasure. If your opponent double spells, you lose a life and create a treasure. So like it may change the way your opponent plays. It could also, like I said, it could kill you. Like you could be like at 2 life, double spell twice. Weird. So you could also just not do anything because it's a 2 mana 2/1. But I think like the fact that it may change the way the opponent plays makes me want to say it's like a 2.5. Well, white black is like uh attrition archetype in this format. Is this considered one of? Well, yeah, all the multicolored cards are basically signposts for like what the color pair wants to do. Basically, like red black wants to be amassing or playing goblins and orcs. Like white black wants to have stuff die, or or sack things. Excuse me. All right, Malher, Urukite Captain, Black Red, Legendary Creature, Orc Soldier, Menace. Thank you, Domino Man. Menace 2/2. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counter be put on an army, Goblin or Orc control, that many +1/1. That many plus that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. So this is basically like your amass payoff. It just makes like your amasses like extra effective because like your amass 1 is now amass 2. Your amass 2 is now amass 3. I don't know how many like +1/+1 counter synergies there are outside of that. Yeah, it's like a better Norn Inquisitor because of the better stat line, but it doesn't give you like an extra body like Norn Inquisitor does. 'Cause, like the reason Norn Inquisitor is so good is because it comes with like a delayed 3. 'Cause, yeah, the front body is pretty terrible on Norn Inquisitor because it's like a 1/1, but it does give you like a delay 3. Nice. It's like it's not really like a 4 mana 3/3 and 1/1 because you with Norn Inquisitor you can choose to like flip the token when like you want to fit it better. Like it's easier to fit like Norn Inquisitor in your curve or whatever. Like when you want to flip the other creature. So like yeah, I don't think there's like a lot of other ways to put like 1/1 counters on stuff outside of like in black red particularly besides like amassing. But yeah, it's just like a mass lord. Or I was gonna say it's like a 2.5 based on that. Because I think it's gonna be decent in your mega amass deck, but I don't think this is actually gonna pump like goblins or whatever that often. Unless like I missed that there was like a bunch of like red and black counters. Alright, Mary Esquire Rohan, red white legendary creature halfling knight haste. Mary Esquire Rohan has first strike as long as equipped. Whenever you attack with Mary and another legendary creature, draw a card. So this is your equipment payoff. Um, yeah, I guess you can equip it with Gimli's axe, and then it's really annoying if you do that. Like, it's really annoying for the opponent. Um, yeah, and I guess it could draw you cards. But if you don't really have like the thing is like the equipment I saw like doesn't seem that good, honestly. Like it didn't seem that good, and then I think there's like a white equipment that's like cheaper if you equip it on legendary stuff, but I don't know. This makes me just want to rate it lower. Like obviously it's gonna be really good with like the Gimli's axe because it's gonna be a 5-2 first strike, but I don't know. It's a 2-2 haste. Probably gonna play it a lot like a 2, maybe like a 2 to 2.5 or something. Maybe it's gonna be really insane if like the equipment deck is really good, but I'm not sure. Alright, the Mouth of Sauron, 3 and blue black, legendary creature human advisor. When the Mouth of Sauron enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. Then amass Orcs X, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in that player's graveyard. Um I guess you can mill yourself. It's probably better to mill yourself, to be honest, as opposed to milling your opponent. But if your opponent's like blue-red, it's kind of insane. But I think most of the time you're gonna mill yourself. Cause like you'll know like how many instants and sorceries on your graveyard. So like you wanna be playing like so this is like for your blue-black instant and sorcery deck. Yeah, it's fine. I could definitely see situations where there's a 5-mana 3/4. There's like I think on average when you're playing this, like because of the mill 3 and you can kind of control, like you can if you play a bunch of instants and sorceries along with this, it'll be like a 3/4 and a 3/3 or a 3/4 and a 4/4 is like kind of like the super happy. Um Blue recursion with a mass. I don't think so. Um Blue recursion with a mass. No, I don't think there is. Or maybe there is, I just didn't see it, but I feel like this is gonna play out more like a 2.5 maybe, depending on like, I guess because you can control it. So it's like 5 mana for a 3/4 and a 3/3, I guess that's fine. It's like fine, I don't know, it's not like amazing. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a little underwhelming some amount of time. That's my worry about it. I'll look after when I'm done with this. I just like if I switch to the my other line of thought, I'm probably just gonna. Old Man Willow to a black green legendary creature tree folk. Old Man Willow's power and toughness are each equal to the number of land you control. Whenever Old Man Willow attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or a token. When you do, target creature an opponent controls gets -2. I mean, it's like a scalable threat. Like if you play this on with 4 lands, it's a 4/4 for 4. Um, you can attack and then shrink your opponent's stuff so they don't have a good block, or just straight up murder their thing. Makes it even better. Like you do need to have sack fodder or like food, but I kind of want to put it as like a 3.5, just because like I think this could be really good. But I don't know. Maybe I was like thinking that Invasion of Lorwyn like really good, and it wasn't really. Invasion of Lorwyn also costs 6, so it had other things against it. It's not the same card. Pippin Guard the Citadel, white and a blue, legendary creature, halfling soldier, vigilant ward 1, 2/2. Another target creature you control gains protection from the card type of your choice until that turn. Um, that feels really annoying. So, like, you can give like it's kind of like Mother of well, not Mother, it's like kind of like Giver of Runes in a way. can also give your creature unblockable sometimes. But like you can do things like, you know, like say you have a 3/3, you block your opponent's 3/3, and then you give your 3/3 protection from creatures, or like, I mean, so they have to kill this first, basically. And like the ward 1 is also like helpful, like making it a little bit harder from the remove it. Like if it was ward 2, this card would be really obnoxious. Like it was just like ward 2, no vigilance. Yeah, the vigilance also means it can attack and still do the tap ability, like assuming it has like a good attack somehow or whatever. Like, yeah, this card could be really annoying to play against. 'Cause, like I said, you have to deal with this first before you can like deal with like your opponent, any of your other opponents. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say is like a 3.5. All right, Prince Imrahil the Fair, white and blue, legendary creature, human noble. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 white human. Um, yeah, this could definitely fill the board really fast. Like it depends on how easy it is to like, you know, draw your second card each turn. But I could see this generating like 2 or 3 tokens if it, like lives. Like how important, like how useful those human creature tokens are around. I guess if you like pumps or something or equipment, it's going to make it better. But I can see this being like a 2.5 to 3. Probably more like a half, depending on how easy it is to like make the token. Like I think this is gonna be like a pretty fair card, not like super broken. Ring sight. Um, 1 in the blue-black sorcery. The ring tempts you. Search your library for a card that shares a color with legendary creature you control. Reveal it. Put your hand in shuffle. This is like I usually don't think tutors are that amazing and like limited, and this also has like the requirement that you need to have a legendary creature for this to do anything. So I just want to say it's like a 1.5. Because I don't think tutor is usually that insane and like limit. Like diabolic tutor is usually like very meaty. I know this costs only 3, but it's just, yeah, sorcery speed. But like diabolic tutor has been in like limited sets forever, and like usually you just don't even want to play like that card. I mean, it's 4 mana though. But this is like 3 mana, 2 colors. It's also like situational because you have to have like a legendary. Right, Rise of the Witch King 2 and black green sorcery. Each player sacrifices a creature. If you sacrifice a creature this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's kind of cool. It reminds me a lot of like Deadly Brew, except you get to reanimate something. Anybody that's familiar with Deadly Brew? So it's going to be a good card in the decks that can make use of it. It's going to be really awful if your opponent has like a lot of 1/1 tokens, because they just sack a 1/1 token. Like the best case scenario is that you sack a 1/1 token and then like you return like your 4 or 5 drop or something, or maybe drop. It can return any permanent, so maybe if you have like a really expensive like non-creature permanent, but I usually think like this type of effect is not going to play out insanely well, but maybe it could be like a 2 situationally at times. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's like a 1.5 to 2, based on like how, depends on how badly you want to play like a cross of 4 mana edict, 4 mana innocent blood, and 4 mana innocent blood and weird reanimate. But I don't think Zombify was really that insane and like limited either, because it's like it's hard to like get mana advantage from it. Anybody familiar with Zombify? Samwise Gamgee, green and white, legendary creature, halfling peasant. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a sacrifice 3 food, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. I mean, if you have like a really heavy creature deck, you can make a lot of foods and then return a historic card from your graveyard to hand. Like, you need to build around this a little bit because you're gonna need to have like preferably like legendary creatures, but I guess you can also return artifacts to your hand. Yep. Did we rate like the draw card guy as a 3, or do we rate it as a 2? I think we rated it a 2.5. Oh. Maybe we could say this is also like a 2.5. But like, I guess it's a little bit better like being able to choose what you return as opposed to like, you know, the other thing was like you just drew a card at random. But maybe it's closer to a 3. Maybe we could just say this because get like more option, more selection. Ceremony of many colors. It is three in a white, blue, black. Legendary creature, avatar, wizard, ward, discard an enchantment, instant or sorcery card. 5/4. Legendary creature, avatar, wizard. Whenever you mill. Oh god, this card has a lot of text on it. See if I can understand it. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. When one or more cards are milled this way, exile target instant, enchantment, or sorcery card with equal or lesser mana value than that spell from an card. Copy the exile card. You may cast the copy while paying its mana. Feels more like an EDH plant. It's probably like unkillable in like late game limited situations because they're gonna need to like discard an instant to like use their actual removal spell on it, right? I guess it's possible, like maybe they draw like, you know, a crappy combat trick and then they play like their murder and it dies. I mean, so it wants you to play 2 spells each turn, and then I think you have to play like an expensive spell for this to like actually do stuff, and then yeah, it's like a hard to kill 6-drop 5/4, which I think this is more of like an EDH plant, so I think I just want to rate it more like a 1.5 or 2. Because yeah, it's just like a hard to kill 6/4. It doesn't have any evasion or anything. But not like it's really going to threaten them if they have like if they have 2/2/2s or something like that, or yeah. You have to cast 2 spells in a turn, and then I think you have to have like the second spell needs to be like reasonably expensive. I guess to copy the thing. I don't know. I'll just say it's like a 2, because maybe you actually do get to like copy like their kill spell somehow when you double spell. But I mean, it's only second spell, so maybe you cast like your 1 mana draw spell into like your 4 mana creature, and then exile murder from like their library. Yeah. I think the reason it says mill 2 cards is to give you more options of like cards that steal from the deck, or like cause you can do enchantment as. Oh, I mean, it doesn't mean you need to cast 2 instants and sorceries. You just need to cast any. Is it exile specific card? No. Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Exile target enchantment instant or sword. All the work. But I definitely imagine someone will like lose that card and then they'll post spell. Great. All right, Sauron the Dark Lord. Um, 3 blue, black, red, legendary creature, avatar horror, ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact, legendary creature. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. What if you do? Draw 4 cards. Wow. Well, it's 6 mana and 3 colors. And it's also kind of annoying to get rid of because, like, your opponent will need, like, I guess if they have a ring bearer, they can sack it and use their, spell on it. But I definitely could see this being, like, very, very annoying late game. Especially, like, this, like, especially if you ever get to, like, draw 4 cards off of it. So the fact that it's like 3 colors is like making it kind of low, but I'm willing to, like, I mean, like, I'm willing to, like, put it as like a 3 or 3.5, even despite like the color house. So maybe like a 3.5. You think it's like a 4? I don't know. I do think this could be really. You think it's an Omega Bomb? You think it's like a 4? I guess I could say it's like a 4. I was gonna say like the 6 mana and the 3 colors makes me not want to say it's like Witch King level, but Sauron's Ransom, 1 in the blue black instant. Choose an opponent and look at the top 4 cards of your library and separate them into a down pile and a face. Put 1 pile into your hand. Oh, they look at the top 4 cards of your library and put 1 pile in your hand and the other into your. So this is basically like, well, it's not fact or fiction because you get to separate the cards. I mean, I think this is like close to, like, I think there was like some card in, I think it was in Eldritch Moon or something like this, or the cost form. What it was. It's like the opponent got to choose the card. Atris. Yeah, it's like Atris, except it doesn't have a body, but it's also like 1 mana cheaper, and it's a, like, it's 4 cards instead of 3. So yeah, it's kind of like it has ring tempsu text. Like, the reason Factor Fiction was broken is because you got to separate your cards into piles, and then your opponent chooses which one you keep. Whatever. But I mean, there's like a level of like mind gaming in this card that's gonna make it like cool or whatever. So I don't know. Like, I think the reason Atris was good is because you could like reanimate stuff. Like, that's why Atris was good, because it was on a creature, so you could like reanimate it. That's the reason the card was like. But this one, but I'm willing to put it as like a 3. Maybe it'll play out more like a 3.5. Because like some people have like really cool flying games on 100 thing. Now, the other car I was thinking of is Fortune's Favor. Like, 3 blue instant. Target opponent looks at the top 4 cards of your library and separates them into a face down pile, a face up pile. Put 1 in your pile in your hand, the other in the group. And Fortune's Favor was not broken because it was like 4. This is 3 and it has like ring text. It'll be better because like the 3 mana does make a difference. Shadow Summoning, white and a black, sorcery, create 2 tap 1/1, white spirit creature token to flying. Like half of Lingering Souls. I mean, that still seems good. I mean, Lingering Souls was easily like a 3.5 or whatever scale, because like it got to make 4 tokens for like 5 mana. This is 2 tokens for 2 mana. I don't know, I'll just say it's 3. It might play out like really insane. It's mad because they're tapped because they don't get the block the turn they come out. Yeah, that is a little awkward. I guess I could rate it down a little bit lower because like they become tapped. But I think that's the fact that they're flying makes it better. I don't know. Flying compared to like the humans. Well, anyway, Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, showing people the meaning of haste. 3 red and white 4/4. Horses you control have haste. Whenever Shadowfax Lord of Horses attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield tap. Kinda cool. I mean, it could randomly mean like taking 7 damage from this. Like if your opponent's like tapped out or whatever, like you play this and like you play this, attack with it, put a 3/3 into play, attacking like 7 damage. That's a lot. I mean, it is a 5-drop, but could be a big deal. And it doesn't mean like your other horses get to attacks. If you have like horse tribal, it's kind of cool. I'm willing to rate this as like a 3 just because like this has like potential to be really swingy. The extra body part, yeah. Like I could see this being like a 3.5 and like some just hitting them for like a chunk of damage. They're tapped out. But you also have to have the creature in your hand qualified. I mean, just putting a 2/2 into play tapped and attacking can say the Shagrat Loot Bearer. The 2 black red legendary creature orcs for 4/4. So it's a 4/4 for 4. I like that. Whenever Shagrat Loot Bearer attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment to it. Then amass Orcs X, where X is the number of equipment attached to Shagrat. So the funny thing about this is that it can actually steal equipment from your opponent. They can move it, but it is actually kind of annoying. Like if you play this against like your opponent's red-white equipment deck, and then you like attack with this, and then like you move your equipment, you move their equipment over, and then it's like a better attack because of it. And it also like amass Orcs X, so like it like assuming there's at least like 1 equipment in play, it'll amass 1. Like, nothing. I have to like imagine a situation where like this is kind of bad if you don't have like any if there's no equipment on the battlefield. It's kind of bad, right? So maybe it's gonna be like a 3. Like the 2 colors a little awkward. I think we've been rating like some of those 4/4 vanilla 4/4s, so functionally vanilla 4/4 for 4 is like a 2.5. Like this could be basically functionally vanilla 4/4. On like they need the Blackgate, the mortar, yeah. Does that make a mass better? I forgot. I'll have to like look again. Oh, this card. Wait, that's a what? Oh wait, that's a commander card. Never. Huh. Alright, Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire, 2 and a blue-black legendary creature avatar rogue. Activated abilities of lands your opponent's control can't be activated as their main. Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire has all activated ability land. Mana of any type can be abilities. Alright, well, this is like a constructed plant. Yeah, this is a hard to cast 2/4. So just rate it like up 4 mana, 2/4, and 1 basically. How badly do you want a 4 mana 2? Like a 4 in draft? Okay. 4 mana 2/4. Shalob, Child of Ungoliant. Um, 4/6, 4 black and a green legendary creature spider demon, 8/8, Death Touch Ward 2. Other spiders you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. Whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you control died, create a token that is a copy of that creature except it's a food artifact. With 2 taps, sacrifices artifact, you gain 3 life and loses all other cards. Well, this also seems like a pretty big bomb, right? It's freaking gigantic. I I don't know how many other spiders there are in this set. Kind of the issue, but like 6 mana 8/8 with like Ward 2 and Death Touch is kind of a big deal. Like imagine they try to gang block this. It kills everything. I don't know how many other spiders are in the set. This is like look at. I think that would make me like rate it like not as an insane bomb because like they could actually deal with it, but like the fact that like I guess if they chump block it, you basically make tokens of their token copies of their creature except their foods, but you also get their ETB. So they can't really like chump block this with things that have ETBs because you're going to get value that way. Like weird because a copy of that creature except it loses all other types. So it's not a creature basically, but you will get the ETBs if like they chump block or with like an ETB. Or that's kind of cool, but I don't know how many spiders. I feel like the spider text is mostly like just apply to itself. Oh, there's like Mirkwood spider. There's like a green 1-drop, so I'm gonna rate this as like a 4 because like it looks really cool. But I mean, there's not really any there's not really much synergy with anything else in this. So it can give your 1-drop Death Touch that already has Death Touch. I think that text there is mostly. Maybe it could be like a 4.5, I guess. Like depending on like the board state, but it's just yeah, because they will have to like chump block it, right? Because like 8 damage is a lot to take. It's a lot to take, and if they block with any ETB, like super like let you have. Also, like the worst case scenario, it's just like food for like your food stuff. So maybe it could be like a. It's also a 6-drop, which makes it like a little bit less like overbearing, right? Right, Smeagol, helpful guy, 1 black green legendary creature, halfling horror, 4. At the beginning and instead of the creature died under your control. Whenever the ring tempts you, target opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a lane card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped under your control, and the rest. So like ramps you when stuff you control dies. Um, it's a 4/2. Like it's probably not really going to be able to get into like combat that often, and you need this to stick around so you can get like the trigger. But I could see this being really annoying to play against because it doesn't mill the opponent, right? If you've got a lot of ring tempts you stuff, this is like a win condition because it can mill them out, right? Like mills them until they reveal land. Get that land too. Kind of cool. I think the thing that like hurts it is that it's got like that annoying like 4/2 stat line, and you don't want this to like die. So you can get the text, or I'll put it as like a 3, just because like I think this could be annoying in like a sack deck. Like if you play this in a sack deck and you start like sacking other things, just like mill out, this could be. But it's also like a 4. Alright, Strider, Ranger of the North, 2 and green red legendary creature human ranger landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield, target creature gets. And if that creature has plus power 4 or greater, it gains first strike until end. It's a 4/4/4. It's a good stat line. It can buff guys. It can basically like attack as like a 5/5 first strike if you play a land. Kinda cool. It can also like you can landfall to like give other creatures, like first strike attacks. Like maybe you don't want to attack with your Strider, but you want to attack with like Death Touch guy or else. Yeah. It's kind of like a small buff, but I mean it is kind of meaningful. It does seem like there is some like power 4 matters that some cards that care about power 4 more or whatever. So I'm willing to put it as like a 3. Maybe it could be like a 3.5 based on like the states, like just being able to like push in damage with this. But I'm not 100% sure. Alright, Theoden, King of Rohan, 1 in red white, legendary creature, human noble, 2/3. Theoden, King of Rohan, or another battlefield. Target creature gains double strike. Okay, I mean, like a 3 mana 2/3 isn't great, but like the fact, like, this could actually result in some really aggressive, like, openers. Like, if you're really, really aggressive, like, giving double strike to other things is kind of a issue, right? Like an issue for your opponent. I mean, like just like if you go like 2-drop, play Theodon, make your 2/2 and a double striker. That's annoying. If you start playing other humans into this, like even like some 4 power, like if you play like if you have like some 3 power guys or other humans, like sorry, if you have like if you like have a steady stream of humans, this card could be really really busted. I mean, and you could even you could also play like that thing that makes 2 human to like give 2 creatures double strike. So if this sticks around and you're playing like the human creature token maker, and then you have like some other like things laying around that are like 3 or 4 power or whatever. Oh damn! Do a ridiculous amount of damage right deck, which makes me want to just need a human in the battlefield. I'm willing to put this as like a 3.5, just because it does have like the potential to just be. Right, Tom Bombadil, Wooburg, Legendary Godbard, 4/4. As long as there are 4 more lore counters among sagas, you control Tom Bombadil. Indestructible. Whenever the final chapter or ability of a saga you control resolve, reveal cards from top of your library to reveal the saga card. Put that card on the battlefield and put the rest on the bottom of your library in the random. This ability only triggers. Just gonna say this is like a 0.5 or 0. I just want to say this is like a 0, honestly. Draft. I'm gonna say it's don't feels like you're gonna need a lot of things. This card would be like good. On good. Yeah, only work with the enchantment. Yeah, and we already with the enchantment we just said. Well, Ugluk of the White Hand, 2 black red legendary creature. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 on Ugluk White Hand. That creature was a goblin or orc. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ugluk. Then. Uh, I mean, it's like again, it's like your goblin orc deck. I mean, it's also sack. It's sack deck. Like it grows bigger when you sack stuff. I mean, it's preferable if you're sacking goblins and orcs. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can also like throw orcs into their death or something like that, and like trade them off, and that makes them grow. Or just other creatures trading off as grow. Yeah, it seems like fine, like or reasonable. Like if you have like enough creatures, especially if they're orcs. So I mean, the thing that I think that hurts it is that it's a 3/3, but I could see this being much better than. I don't know. I feel like this could get out of control, but like it's off creatures you control dying. So you need to have like sack fodder or creatures that you can throw into the red zone, have them die. right? So maybe it's like gonna be like a 30. I think it's like 2.5. Yeah, I think it's more like enough. I think that's 2.5. Alright. We are getting close to the end. Thanks for like hanging out. Let's go and do the artifacts. Oh my, there's a lot. I guess there's a bunch of artifacts, but not like a million artifacts. How many lands are there? Oh, I guess we're like almost done. No, there's like 17 artifacts, but I can get to that quickly. Go to that quickly. Well, the set review has actually been kind of like long. I think thanks for the people like hanging out regardless of like even though this isn't like regular Magic. Just thought I would do this because people had asked me to do the set review like for um like to clarify, like most of the time when I do set reviews, like nobody, like there's very few people like watch stuff. Like set reviews usually get like way less people watching. I mean, yeah, it's like you can see it now. There's not a lot of people drafts, but I mean it's also because like we're sort of reached like the summer phase and like a lot of people gone from summer is always Twitch viewer stuff. But anyway, let's start artifacts. So artifacts, we're going to begin here with Anduriel, Flame of the West, 3 legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, create 2 tap 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. That creature is legendary. Instead, create 2 of those tokens that are tapped and attacking. Equip 2. Okay. Seems like a bomb. Gonna say this seems like a bomb. It is really good. I mean, it's like the fact that this makes more bodies that you can equip with this, it feels like very balmy. Like even if they trade with like your guy that had this equipment on it, then you equip the sword to the spirit. And imagine you have a legendary that's like attacking, or they're attacking them. This is like really, yeah. Well, I mean, I think in normal swords are like, you know, 3 mana to play, 2 to equip, get +2/+2, do something on hit. This just needs to attack. I mean, obviously this is like a little bit worse than like some of the things like Sword of Body and Mind or whatever when they have the on hit trigger or like Fire and Ice on hit trigger, but just making 2/1/1s is kind of like, yeah, like it's better with legendaries, but like you don't even need legendaries to play this. But it's just like really insane by itself, just making more bodies or equipment on it. Because that's one of the issues with like equipment is like running out of bodies. It makes more with evasion. I would say it's like a 0.5 easy. All right, Marrow Blade, 1 artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 whenever equipped creature blocks or become blocked by a creature that the creature loses all abilities. 1. This is a short sword. Gonna be good in the equipment matters. In the equipment matter deck, so it makes the blocker or the attacker that's being blocked lose the ability. It's not making so it's basically like it neuters like first strike, for example. Like say you equip this to a creature and then you attack with it, and then your opponent has like a first strike creature or like a death touch creature. Like it'll turn off first strike and death touch, all those other types of things. Mostly it's like first strike and touch and like so. I mean, short sword has never been like really great, but I'm willing to put this as like a 2. Just because I think it's obviously better than short sword. Like it depends on how good the equipment payouts are, but I'm willing to put it at 2. Like I don't think it's gonna be like something that you pick early. Yeah, they lose indestructible too. They have it. But I want to put it as a 2 or end drop basin 2 artifact X tap, put a 1/1 counter on target creature with power X, activate only a sorcery. So kind of weird, like it's not Dragon Blood. Like I guess Dragon Blood is like a card that like people have played from time to time, like for 3 mana artifact, pay 3, tap, put a 1/1 counter target creature. The fact that you can only activate a sorcery is kind of bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna say this is probably closer to like a 1. I think the sorcery speed kills it, and the fact that you have to pay more mana as like your dude gets bigger, which like hurts a lot. Because usually the thing with like Dragon Blood is that you can just keep pumping the same thing. And I think the sorcery speed, honestly, and the ramping cost. Fun. Glamdring to legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has first strike and gets +1/+0 for each. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may cast an instant from your mana value less than or equal to without paying it. So this is your blue-red spell payoff. It's like very similar to like Rune Chanter's Pike. If anybody remembers that card. I don't think like Rune Chanter's Pike was like insane in Brothers War or like in Innistrad, but I mean, but I like one. Yeah, it feels like it's gonna be like a 1. I mean, it's better. It does cost more to equip it. It's like the downside. It does have like a relevant trigger, maybe like a 1.5. But I feel like maybe if you build like a very specific deck around it, but I don't know how insane. Fine, put it. Right, Horn of Gondor 3 legendary artifact. When Horn of Gondor enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white. Huge token. 3 tap, create X 1/1 white human soldier creature token where X is the number of humans you control. Well, I mean, this card can get out of control, right? In the human deck. Just yeah, like I could see this getting out of like you don't even need other humans to make this work, but like it's obviously a lot better if you have, right? Because just by itself, it's like make a 1/1 and tap it, make a 1/1 white human. Not like but like it could get out of control, yeah, because like it'll just double the number of humans, assuming you're keeping all your humans around, right? Because it'll start out like even if you don't have any creatures in play or any humans, it'll make 1 human, and then next turn it makes 2, and then next turn it makes 4. Right? I think this is obviously going to be a lot better when you have like other humans already, and you can just drop this late game and then just like make like humans right away. If you're making 3 humans right away, also the nuts. So this could actually be like a win condition in of itself. Just like a little bit slow is a thing, but I'm willing to like rate it as like a 3 based on just that. It could be like more like a 3.5. How fast the format and aggressive the format is, but right, Horn of the Mark 2 legendary artifact. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in the range. So, I mean, it costs 2. You need to have 2 creatures attacking for this to do something. this could be like repeatable card advantage if you're doing it. Like if you have like flyers, like it's gonna be better because then you can attack and get more creatures. But the fact that it's not gonna do anything when you're on like the back foot is like kind of bad. I just want to put it down as like a 2 in that case. But hey, thank you much for the raid, that villain J. I think my fault to you. Doing Lord of the Rings limited set review. We're almost done. Going through artifacts. Hope your stream went well. Big shout out to hey the Fox says thank you very much. Great, but yeah, if you want to watch quality Magic content, check out that villain J. Take my Fox at you. Okay. Yeah, we're just going over the set. Your stream's going well. Alright. So I said 2 there. Inherited envelope, 3 artifact. When inherited envelope enters the battlefield. Okay, so this is your colorless mana fixing. So it's like mana lift that tempts you. I don't know. I don't think mana lift was really like insane. I usually just rated mana lift as like a 1.5 and probably do it again. You saw Fox very close to a deer and you drive home. You should like Fox at you. Oh man, it's funny. Alright, Lembus. I feel like there was some meme about Lembus, but I don't know. Like piece of Lembus. Lembus 2, artifact, food, and Lembus enters the battlefield, scry 1, then draw a card. 2, tap, sacrifice Lembus, you gain 3 life. Whenever Lembus enters the point of the graveyard from the battlefield, its owner shuffles it into the library. It looks busted, the Lembus. So, okay, it cantrips. I guess if you're like in the food archetype deck, then this is actually going to be good there, but I don't think this is like super broken in of itself. Like, I don't think the fact that it like shuffles itself back into your library is really that broken. It's basically just like a cantrip that, you know. Yeah, I mean, you can gain life. I think this is better in like the. Well, no, it goes into the library. You still need to draw it. Yeah, it's good in the scry. I guess it's gonna be like a good like glue card. Okay, because it works in the draw 2 cards and the scry archetype, and then so maybe this will end up playing like Golden Egg, that card from like Eldraine, because like Golden Egg ends up becoming like pretty decent. So yeah, I feel like this could situationally be like a 2.5, I guess, because of the synergies. But not every deck will necessarily want it, right? The Golden Egg ended up being a lot better than people thought it was, just because it had artifact synergies and food synergies. Artifact synergies and food synergies. It also was like mana fixing. Well, this isn't mana fix. Alright, I'm just gonna say maybe it could be a 2.5 because it's colorless card, but maybe it's not deck you're playing it. Like if you're playing like some orc deck, you don't want to play it. Like a F or whatever in your deck, but it's gonna be good in draw a card. Yeah. What scries? I mean Golden Egg draws too. Right, Mirror Galadriel 2, legendary artifact. 5 tap scry 1, then draw a card. This ability costs 1 less for each activate for each legendary. So I mean, really expensive. Yeah, it's really expensive. I guess if you like, you really need to have like multiple legendaries want to play this. Multiple legendary creatures want to play this because 5 mana is really a lot. What this does, like even if it is scry 1 and draw a card, like JM Day Tome is like not like it's like a 1 in 5. Yeah, this feels like it's gonna be a yeah, it's probably gonna be a trap card. it's probably going to be a trap card, so yeah, I'll just say it's a trap. People will probably end up playing it in decks that they should not be playing it. Like Noob Alert or Alright, Mithril Coat 3, Legendary Artifact Equipment Flash, Indestructible. When Mithril Coat enters the battlefield, attach it to a target legendary creature you control. Equipped creature is indestructible. I mean, this is like it's like a combat trick for your legendary creature, or it's like Dark Steel Plate. A little bit of both. Like, was Dark Steel Plate broken in Limited? I might have not played enough formats where that was legal or whatever. Like, I feel like this is more like an EDH plant. Like, there might be like some situation where somebody said they lost because like their opponent played Mithril Coat, but I feel like this is more like for EDH because like people in EDH want more copies of like Dark Steel Plate is like sometimes. What is a card you sometimes play? I don't know. 3 mana is a lot to equip. To make a good blocker for like Shalob, yeah. I don't know, it just feels like a lot of mana, like, to equip it, and it doesn't actually increase the stats of the creature at all. Just gives it, like, indestructible. Like, maybe if you have, like, like, a bunch of legendaries. If you have a bunch of legendaries, it gets better, but I feel like this is... People are just gonna spend, like, 6 mana on this a lot of time. It's free if you have a legendary. That's attached to a legend. But, yeah... I don't know, I feel like this card is probably just gonna play out kind of bad. I just want to rate it as like a 1.5 or something. Like, people will, again, probably think like this is insane because like the industry, yeah, paying 3. Alright, we've gone down to the One Ring. 4 legendary artifact indestructible. When the One Ring enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. And put a burden counter on the One Ring, and then draw a card for each burden. Okay. I'm not sure how to like rate this unlimited because it feels like it's more of a constructed card. Like, I think this could actually like kill you if you don't use it right. No, because like the first time you tap it, you draw a card. Like, it is nice that you get to draw a card right away, but then you're basically saying you're losing a life every turn for the rest of the game. And then like, you could start drawing more cards. Like, the second time you tap it, you draw 2. But then now you're losing 2 life every upkeep. I think this card is just gonna like kill people a lot in this format. Like, I think it's meant really for like EDH where you actually start with like life, and then like, yeah, you lose more life as you get card, but like you're losing life every upkeep. As like, so like that's the thing I see about it. So like, okay, you could, like, if you draw 3 cards, like if you activate this twice, you're losing 2 life every turn after that. So like, if you activate it once, you lose 1 life, and you lose it. Yeah, you like, I don't know. I think this is just gonna be really bad and like limit on it. I think this is more of like a constructed card, but maybe somebody will prove it wrong. I'm just gonna say it's like a 1. But maybe it's actually better than. I think like the life loss is gonna matter a lot. Alright, Palantir of Orthonk, 3 legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on the Palantir of Orthonk and scry 2. Target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on Palantir of Orthonk, and that player loses life equal to total mana value of this card. This is a really cool, like, mini-game card. This could also deck you, though. Is the thing, right? But it's weird because I guess it could kill them, like if you have like a lot of expensive cards in your deck. It's like hard to rate. I don't know. I think like the mini game is pretty cool, right? It's got like it's like cool because of like the mini game because like if they don't let you like the Scry 2 can set up your draw pretty nicely. Um if they don't let you draw the card and say you put like 2 6 drops on top of your deck, it could kill them very quickly, right? Or if your deck is just chock full of like expensive cards or whatever on the top of your deck, it could kill them right away. So I think this is a card that is just gonna be hard to like evaluate, but I could see this as being like actually pretty good just because of like that. I mean, it is like a 3 drop that doesn't attack or block. And your opponent does get like some choice about like what happens. But I don't know, I just think like the mini game is like fun enough that I would be willing to rate it as like a 3, but in practice it could be end up being more like a 2. I don't think it's gonna be like I don't know if this is gonna necessarily be like an insane bomb or anything, but I think like the mini game is like fun enough to like give it some points there. The mini game. File of Galadriel 3 legendary artifact. If you draw a card while you have no cards in hand, draw 2 cards instead. If you gain life while you have 5 or less life, you gain twice that much life instead, add 1 mana. So this is basically just mana lift. And I guess sometimes you draw 2 cards. I'm gonna rate this very similarly to Mana Live. I want to put it as like a 1.75, but I guess can't. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess if you're like emptying your hand constantly, this does kind of become like personal Howling Mine, but I think it's a good card. Yeah, but like if you're able to consistently empty your hand, it's like personal Howling Mine. It just feels like very close to like that mana. I'll just put it at 2.5, I guess. Like live the dream with it, but I think it's really good. Dire Scarecrow 2. It would be a card to keep you alive, yeah. Dire Scarecrow 2, artifact creature 0/3 defender, add 1 mana of any color activate. So they made like a worse version of the thing from Dominaria United. It was like a 1/3 that did this. Why? Yeah, mana worker, but it's an 0/3 instead of a 1/3. Why is it worse? Help. I don't know. Like 0/3, like the problem with like 0/3s is that they don't even like stop attacks at all. So I don't know. I don't want to rate it like a 1. Maybe the mana fixing matters, but it just I don't know, like 2 mana 0/3. Thing the Glinting Dagger. 2 legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has +1/+1 and has haste. Beginning of each combat, untap equipped creature. Equipped creature has first strike as long as it's blocking or blocked by a goblin or orc. Equipped 2. It's not exactly vigilance, because it does work with like creatures with tap abilities. Like you could just, you know, like there's some possibilities here with like creatures that have tap abilities because you basically can use like if you have a creature with a tap ability, you get to like use it like 3 times technically because you can like first main phase, your main phase, equip it, tap it for something, and then like at the beginning of combat, untap it and do the thing again. And at the beginning of your opponent's combat, you untap it, and then so if there's like some pingers that are really good or whatever in the set, it could be cool. Like I mean, I think the problem I have with it is like is +1/+1 and haste worth like 2 mana? I mean, it has like pseudo vigilance also, and it can also get first strike sometimes, like in certain matchups. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's like a 2.5. But there might be like somebody that breaks the card, but not really sure. Stone of Eric. Why does Eric have a stone? Um, 1. Legendary artifact. If a creature opponent controls would die, exile instead. 2. Sacrifice Stone of Eric. Exile target player's graveyard, draw a card. Okay, graveyard hate. I just put it as 1. Uh, that's just graveyard hate. 1, 0.5, whatever. Okay. Wizard Rock at 1. Artifact. Wizard's Rock is end of the battlefield tap. X. Sacrifice Wizard's Rockets, add X mana any combination colors. Whenever Wizard's Rocket is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So it's mana fixing that can do, like, I guess this can help you cast Aragorn. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you need to cast Aragorn, or, Saruman, or, the other guy, or Sauron, I guess you're really happy about this card. I mean, I don't know, I'm just one-shot mana fixing. Yeah, I guess you can cycle it, worst case scenario. You can also sack it. I don't remember if there's things that care about you sacking an artifact. But if there is, you can make this sack fodder, and then, or, I don't know. I just want to put it as like a 1.5. Like, you'll want it in your Aragorn Sauron deck, but in a Balrog, yeah. Well, it doesn't make mana, it just fixes mana is the problem. Oh, I guess, no, you're right, Balrog, because it's a sack. Yeah, you can sack it. True. Because it makes Balrog, um, cost 1 less, because you can sack it to make mana for Balrog, and it costs less. But, alright, borrowed your legendary land, borrowed your enters the battlefield tap, unless you control a legendary creature. Add black, XX, black, tap, amass Orcs X, activate only if a creature died this turn. Maybe this was the card that, like, Night Dark Life was saying the amass X one. I mean, I guess if you have like a dedicated sack deck, or you can force trades and stuff. I mean, this feels like it's gonna be kind of weird. Like, I mean, yeah, it's like, say your opponent attacks you. Like, late game, this could be kind of a big deal. Late game, like, early game is gonna be like kind of, alright, have a good night, Domino Man. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know, maybe it could be situationally a 3. I don't remember how we rate it. Is like late game, this could be kind of a big deal. Like, it doesn't really do. I mean, it's a land, worst case scenario. It's not like, no. There's not like a huge opportunity cost for playing it. It will enter the battlefield tap if you don't. The opportunity cost. Alright, Great Hall of the Citadel. Not to be confused with Shepherd. But alright, so tap, add a colorless. 1, tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend mana that only casts legendary spells. Okay, here's your enabler for all those multicolor legendaries. Oh, March from the Black Gate. Only play in your legendary deck. Don't play it else. Yeah. Right. Oh, this thing. Yeah, I think we rated this kind of low because it's like it's really good in your army deck. Like, if you have a lot of army amass things, but I'm just gonna say there's like a 1.5 outside of like your It's like it is there is actually a cost to playing like a colorless land. There's actually like a cost to it. It's gonna make like things more difficult for you. Right? The Grey Havens, legendary land when the Grey Havens end the battlefield, scry 1. Tap, add colorless, tap, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures in your graveyard. Again, same thing I said about colorless land. I mean, maybe if like a lot of legendaries, it's gonna be better. Like, I guess a scry 1, like Selfie and Void. Maybe I'm just gonna also think this is gonna be like a 1.5 a lot of times outside of like the legendary matters deck, but alright, Minas Tirith. Yeah, but you have to have something died though, is the problem. Maybe a Barad-dûr is more like a 2. I'm gonna say it's a 3. So go back to Minas Tirith. Legendary land, and there's the battlefield tap unless you control a legendary creature. Add tap, add white. One generic and white tap, draw a card, activate only. I mean, you probably want to be attacking with your white deck, and then you're getting a draw card. Seems fine, good-ish. Again, low cost of adding it because it's a legendary. It's a land slot. I'll just say 3. Lines of Moria, again, same cycle, legendary land, and there's a battlefield tap, legendary creature, tap, add red. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard, create 2 treasure tokens. So this like kinda ramps you in a later turn, but you need to have like cards in your graveyard. I don't know. Just think about again, I mean, I guess the cost is not that hard because it's a like a land slot, but I don't know. You have to spend like you have to basically spend 4 mana and have like 3 cards in your graveyard to do thing. It's like it's because it's like a land that doesn't really technically. Right, Mount Doom, legendary land, tap, pay 1 life, add black or red. 1 black, red, tap, Mount Doom deals 1 damage opponent, and then 5 black, red, tap, sacrifice Mount Doom and a legendary artifact. Choose up to 2 creatures and then destroy the rest. Activate only as a source. Oh well. I mean, that's kind of balmy if you can actually do it right. If you can fulfill all the conditions of this, it's basically like it's pretty balmy. Like I think the part that hurts it is that you like it's going to hurt you a bunch early on, and then you're also going to need a legendary artifact. But there's a bunch of legendary artifacts. But if you actually get to do this, it's kind of nuts, right? Because it's basically you get to choose 2 creatures, so you can just choose your 2 of your best creatures and then destroy everything else. It is like functionally like 8 mana to do it because you need to tap the lane, also pay. So I think that just keeps it from being like really broken. Like I don't know, like I just remember like the black spell from Strixhaven wasn't really broken. The one that was like the 8 mana, choose 1 creature, destroy everything else. Or that also forced you to choose one has some. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that have to like happen for this to be really good, which makes me want to only rate it as like 3 something. Even though like the upside's super do it. But it's just like you have to jump through a lot of hoops to get like this part going. Like I don't know, I just want to rate it a 3. I think a lot of people are gonna play this and like lose like 5 life to it. Wonder why. I don't know. Alright, Rivendell again, enters the battlefield tap unless you control a legendary creature. Tap, add blue. 1 in a blue, tap scry 2, activate only if you control a legendary creature. I mean, it's not bad. You need to have a legendary creature to be able to activate it. But I mean, like if you compare this to like Castle Vantress, for example, like this is half the mana cost to do it. That could be a big deal. I'm just gonna put it at 2.5. So like the legendary creature requirement, and then the Shire. The Shire ends the battlefield. Tap a control legendary creature. Tap add green. One in a green. Tap an untapped creature control. Okay. This is your another food enabler. You do need to have untapped creatures, and you're gonna spend mana to do it. Alright, let's say half. And Shire Terrace, this is like warped landscape, kinda. Except it's like cheaper. Okay, it's better than warped landscape. So it's like it's a colorless land, but you can play it early as like a colorless land, and then when you have more mana to do things, you can like, you know, sack it to get like an actual land that generates a color you need. Um, I mean that's fine. It's not like insane or whatever. There's definitely some cost to play. There's still some cost of playing it. Like if you have like a 2-card hand in like say your aggressive green white deck, and then one of these is like a Shire Terrace, and then like plains. But the fact that it only costs 1 to activate really helps there. So like you're more likely to be able to activate it to get like your other color man. I'm willing to put it as um like I do think you have to like think carefully about putting this type of land in your deck. Like you probably don't want to put it. It'll be like perfectly good otherwise. Oops. At the end.